just by looking around, your smartphones, your laptop screens, these projectors, these lights, and the satellites around the globe. So through today's event, we hope to ignite the curiosity in your mind about the circuit.
Okay, that was very well put by Shivam. Now I'll give you a short insight about coding. So coding is the basic literacy in the digital age, and it is important for us to understand coding and to be able to work with it. Learning to code at a young age can prepare us for a better future irrespective of the career choices that we make, because it will help us with communication, creativity, math, writing, and above all, give us the confidence to solve problems like society, economy, technology, wealth, education, and entrepreneurship. And there's always a start for beginners like us to be in this sport called coding. And already being a part of this, I may say here that we are totally loving the sport. And I'm very sure that you all present will have a great...
Smiles on your face, please. Oh, that's great.
Yeah. Please enjoy your moments here. Coding shall follow suit because it's in our mind, in our nature, and in our world. We hope you have a great time here. Thank you and all the very best.
So now I would like to welcome our guests of honor, Mr. Chandrasekhar Chitral, an entrepreneur since 1992, currently the managing director of the IT Solution, Mr. Sakya Singh Mahapatra, the founder of the SARC Robotics Lab and a robotics researcher. And last but not the least, we have our own Dean, Dr. Priyadarshan Patra. We request our guests to please come on the dais for us to felicitate them with the saplings. Now you may wonder why we are welcoming our guests with the saplings rather than the flower bouquet. Well, this is because a sapling symbolizes a renewed life, hope, and the growth of future generation.
We have our very own Dean present with us over here, Dr. Professor Priyadarshan Patra. And I may now please request him to come up on the dais and speak some words about the event. Thank you.
Thank you, Saranya and Shivam, for a wonderful introduction. Very good morning to all of you. It is so wonderful to see you, so many bright minds, bright young minds in front of me, and many very accomplished leaders on the dais here. I'm sure it was a little bit of effort to come early this morning, but I will hope that we are all making every effort to make it a very entertaining, fun, and full of learning day for you. I won't be very long, but I thought I'd just tell you that we organized this event for the benefit of our young generation who are in high schools, so that they see where some of the fundamental pillars of progress are, and how by learning new techniques and technologies and being innovative about it, we can be a number one nation in the whole world. So this is a invitation to you. This is a encouragement to you, you young and bright minds, to engage in activities that will bring you not only joy, creativity, but also fetch you great careers in the future, when all of us are, of course, interested in a professional career or something similar. So this is hopefully a good help for you. So what is in store for us today? First of all, a shout out to those of you who just joined. Great, you're all there. There may be some others who might be coming, but it's okay. So today we have planned a number of things for you. After our inaugural short speeches, we would have a small or a short lecture, introductory lecture, and after that we will have our snack break, morning snack break, snack tea that will be served outside. During that period, hopefully you will interact with professors, guests, our invited guests and all. But you have a short time. We are planning to start our next major event in the labs upstairs in 3rd floor. You will be guided by volunteers. Our volunteers are wearing this the XCC or Xavier code and circuit camp shirt. And some of our faculty professors are here. They will guide you. You will go to the 3rd floor, which is to one of our labs of the School of Computer Science and Engineering, where you will learn about how to do game programming, visual programming, or at least learn the basics of visual programming. Okay? Some of you probably have already learned HTML, maybe even Python, I don't know, some of you. So this would be a great experience for those who do not have that much experience in programming, and still would be very interesting in the game development, maybe even machine learning. I will talk about it a little bit, how you can do artificial intelligence and machine learning, even with the Scratch programming system that was developed by MIT, okay? That is Massachusetts Institute of Technology in the US. Probably some of you have heard about it. Okay, so that is about 1 hour. After that, we would like you, we offer you 2 options. One is where you learn how to design circuits, and a little bit about hardware, etc. And a parallel session. So there are 2 sessions. Okay, you guys have to choose which one you want to go. The parallel session is on web design, web programming, of that kind. So it's more software or coding related. So during, I do not know what the volunteers have done. They will take or guide you to choose who goes where. So during your snack break, perhaps you should give your names, or professors will guide you how it should be done so that it is. So that is about 1 hour or so of circuit design, etc. Then you will be getting ready for lunch. We will take you to lunch, that warm, nice lunch we are offering at our postgraduate dining hall. Okay, we'll all go with you, so it's easy. After that, we would have a short walk around the campus. We will just show some areas, buildings, sports facilities, some things, right? So you have fun. After that, we will return back, but we'll return back to this venue, not labs anymore. You will come back to this venue, and that's where we will hold the quiz bowl, or the tech quiz. All of you would participate. It's a new format, or a different format than you might be used to. So we would hold an interesting, fun event in the afternoon. Throughout the day, we will have you fill out a survey form or feedback form. Okay, that is crucial, that all of you provide us some feedback so we can better plan how can we do, a better events in the future. That's our purpose, to understand what is needed. So that information is on our web page, for the XCC web page. You can go from your smartphone, etc., or computer when you go to the labs. You can start filling. Basically, after the quiz bowl, after whatever little prize goodies you will get, we will have a closing ceremony in this same hall. And right after the closing ceremony is a period when those who haven't yet filled the feedback form, they need to fill it, and there would be certificate distribution. You will be given, all the student participants will be given a certificate, okay? And then maybe some other goodies, I don't know. There may be a surprise. You will be given. They will ensure that you have filled your forms, your feedback forms, okay? My friends on the dais. Thank you.
So thank you so much, sir, for your kind words. Then we have with us Mr. Chandrasekhar Chitral, an entrepreneur since 1992. He is currently the managing director of Catalyst IT Solution. And his company focuses on...
That's Mr. Chandrasekhar Chitrala. An entrepreneur since 1992, he's currently the managing director of Catalyst IT Solutions Private Limited. His company focuses on developing innovative, economic and efficient solutions for organizations ranging from as large as Indian Railways and PSUs to the neighborhood Kirana store. He has developed enterprise management software for verticals such as retail, hospitality, publishing, internet entrepreneurs, internet distributions, as well as trade manufacturing. Passionate about mentoring new entrepreneurs, he participates in various startup programs such as Google and Techstars Startup, Weekend Startup, India events such as etc. as mentor and judge. So may I please have you on stage and say some motivating words to the students.
Thank you. Good morning. Let me start off by saying a very big thank you for allowing me to be a part of this event. Thank you so much, sir. It's always my pleasure to interact, especially with young people like you. More so because I am slightly gray-haired now, so when I see bright young faces in front of me, it gives me a boost of energy, a boost like nothing else. Let me not take up much time. I would just like to share a few things that I feel passionately about. One of them, as Sharanya just mentioned, was entrepreneurship. Okay, entrepreneurship is a very fancy word for setting up your own business, right? But it is not just that. Why? You probably, generally the impression is an entrepreneur is somebody who starts up his own business, is not somebody who works in a job, in a company for somebody else. What I am talking about is the spirit of entrepreneurship. The spirit of entrepreneurship basically means you take ownership of whatever you are doing. Sundar Pichai, okay, Satya Nadella, they don't own Alphabet or Microsoft. But how do you think they have risen so far? They started as coders, when they started off. How did they reach that level? They reached that level because whatever they did, they took ownership of that. They said that I'm going to do it with the best of my ability. I'm not going to do it because I have to do it or because that is there in my JD. I'm going to do it because I believe it needs to be done and I believe I can do it very well or the best. Anything and everything that you do, if you are able to put that spirit of entrepreneurship in it, nobody can stop you from succeeding. Even today, in this event, it is not just that you've come as a part of your school, you have to sit here, you have to participate in these events. You've got some very fantastic brains out here. People like Professor Pats or the other professors here, the amount of knowledge that they carry is huge. You have an opportunity now to make use of that, to learn from them. Believe me, if there are maybe 50 or 100 of you here, there are lakhs who do not have this opportunity. Use this opportunity. This is the spirit of entrepreneurship. Wherever you are, try to do as much as you can. Not because you have to do it, because you want to do it, and going forward, you will be proud to say, yes, this is something that I have done. It will take you further. The second thing that I believe will help each and every one of us is networking. What is networking? Networking is not just being part of Facebook, though it is also a part of it. What is networking? Alone, I can do something. Together, I'm a fist. I can do much, much more. With networking, it's a force multiplier. Nobody takes Steve Jobs, Steve Wozniak. They had to work together. But when they did, what happened? They built up an organization. The success that Apple is today is not because of one individual or two. It's because of the entire team. Now, this networking can exist across the world today, thanks to your internet. Make use of that. You are on Facebook mostly, you are on Instagram, maybe some of you are also on Tinder, I'm not sure. Okay. Use another tool called LinkedIn. Join LinkedIn, because that has a very, very specific focus, and you won't believe the amount of learning that you can get from it. You won't believe the type of people you will be able to connect with. You can connect directly with Sundar Pichai. You can connect directly with Satya Nadella. Their minds, you can see what they are reacting, what they are saying, what they are suggesting, what they are sharing. Just imagine sitting here in Bhubaneswar, you are able to have access to their knowledge. Right? And there is one more thing that I would like to share, which I very, very passionately believe in, is that we have a duty beyond ourselves. Among us, we are fortunate in the sense that we are able to have access to technology, we have access to education, we have access to so many resources. There are billions of us who do not have that. Going forward, a situation is coming very soon where there could be a huge crisis. Today, you will be learning about artificial intelligence, robotics, machine learning and all that. They're wonderful things. They save a lot of labor. But they also take away earning opportunities. We need to make sure that as a society, all of us are able to grow inclusively. This is something maybe you will say that, okay, this is not my job right now, I'm still a student. But then you need to start thinking about it today, because this is a challenge that our generation will not face. This is a challenge your generation will face. So this is something, just keep it in your mind if possible. I know it's a bit depressing, but anyway. Thank you so much. All the best.
Thank you so much, sir, for your highly motivating words. Last but not the least, we have Mr. Sakya Singh Mahapatra, a robotics researcher. He is the founder of the SARC Robotics Lab, one of the most exciting and fast-growing robotics company of India. He aims at building the biggest and the best robotics company of the world. A budding entrepreneur, he has upskilled 50,250 students to achieve hands-on experience in designing robots since 2009. Sir, may I please call upon Mr. Mahapatra to say a few inspiring words to our students.
Yeah, very good morning to everyone. Respected mentors on the dais and off the dais, and my dear friends and the team of volunteers organizers. So it's a wonderful beginning today. We are here interacting on a topic which is need of the hour. We are talking about coding. We are talking about circuits. So this is out of your human body, but this should be close to your heart today. Today you look at your car, less mechanical, more electronics. Tomorrow your car will have less electronics, more programming. That's what your driverless car. Today I'm talking about IoT. We are talking about drone delivering foods at your doorstep. Whenever you talk about all this technology, it excites a lot to everyone. And when we look at all the electronic gadgets available, you will get disappointed that nothing is innovated in India. I stand at a point why these young minds need to be transformed to young scientists of the country is the agenda. And this should be a moment like we all look forward, less work, less innovate, then the country will grow. We talk about our Dr. Abdul Kalam ji. He have never joined Indian Army, but he has served in a bigger way to the country, being a scientist inside a laboratory. So I look at you all, I just wanted to understand, are you excited to develop something of your own? Today Steve Jobs is not there, but we are speaking about him, the legacy. Yesterday it was Amrut, today it is innovation. Yesterday you have to drink Amrut to stay Amar. Today you have to innovate to stay Amar. So my dear friends, it's a right point. You are here in a wonderful morning. It's a great day. This day should be your turning point of life. Can you think of 10 problems around you? Can you pick one problem? Can you get 5 friends? Can you think of prototyping the idea? Then get the concept, go get the circuit ready, go to the coding, develop the codes, implement in the circuit, develop a prototype, and your product must and should solve certain problem. The driver is needed because he helps you in something. These mics are needed because it helps us in something. So the value addition of a particular product or prototype, what we make, that has to be there, otherwise nobody will use it, nor you will use it. So you need to understand the idea. The idea should be a problem. The bigger problem, the idea, the small idea will be bigger. Today we're talking about drainage cleaning robot. There is a company, a couple of my students from Kochi, they founded a company, manhole. They're converting all manholes to robo-holes. Today robots are getting inside the drainage, inside the manholes and cleaning. Can you imagine such a large country, such a drainage system where robots are getting inside the drainage and cleaning today? So I talk about very particularly why do we need robots. I talk about 4D. We all human need robots because of 4D condition. Then people ask, what is 4D? So it's a fun, right? You drive the people with your own question. You set the questions. So the 4D comes D, 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 D. Then people say, what is this D, 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 D? Then I said dull, dirty, difficult, dangerous. You look at any problem around you where you have dull, repetitiveness, boring. You look at any problem where there is a dirty environment, where somebody is working in a dirty environment. You look at any problem which is difficult. And look at any problem where there is dangerous environment. Talk about nuclear reactor. If you look at these 4 environment, dull, dirty, difficult, dangerous, then you need to develop a solution which can replace a human from that particular environment. The human can take a decision sitting remotely. Then you need technologies like robotics, IoT, embedded system, and I call it all as not Industry 4.0. It's limited to only Industry 4.0. I talk about 21st century generations. With my limited interaction with professors, so I got to understand what is there inside the heart. He is actually trying to create the workforce for the 21st century. He is trying to bring the advanced technologies inculcated among you, and you guys get into it and do research and grow. And today's objective possibly to create a awareness. It's a high time. It's a high time to innovate. And possibly today we'll look forward, having what is a circuit, how to design a circuit, why do we need a circuit, the purpose of circuit. It's all easy. It's all easy. There's nothing like rocket science. It's already done somewhere, someone is doing it, and we have to learn and do it, and we have to bring the technology to an application. The technology has already got developed. The technology is not yet to be developed. No need to reinvent the wheel. I was just speaking to Chandrasekhar sir today morning. So, Intel has developed an Intel development board for robotics. I am not sitting here to develop another Intel board. I am sitting here to develop application on the top of the development board and solve the problem of the society. Do you agree with me or not? So how many of you are saying that you will do research, you will innovate something? See, there was in schools, there is a batch, right? You are a class monitor, you get a batch. And I say, patents are the batch here to be carried out lifetime. Just think for a while. Can I solve a problem? I am a problem solver. I am a change maker. Start calling yourself, I am a problem solver. I am a change maker. I am changing. Then you'll ask, what are you doing? I am creating robotic science. I understood personally, if I sit inside a laboratory, I'll develop only one product in 2 years or 3 years. If I get along with young minds, work with them, then we can develop 1,000 products in a year. Do you agree or disagree? So I see lot of ideas, lot of innovation. You don't, discount yourself. You don't say he is great, she is great, I am not great. No. You need to find yourself inside yourself. That is what you need to do today. So
Now we would like to present the mementos to our guests of honor, and we'd like to invite our dean to do the honor, to present the mementos to our guests. Thank you. We have with us our respected Dean, Dr. Professor Priyadarshan Patra, who is currently the Dean of Computer Science and Engineering and the Dean of Research at Xavier University, Bhubaneswar. He recently served as the Chief Architect and Principal Scientist at the Global R&D Divisions of Intel Corp. Over the years, he created and led world-class research and development for servers, systems on chip, authored over 60 scholarly technical publications, 3 scientific books, 10 USA international patents, and other influential articles for the society. He has edited multiple technical proceedings and delivered numerous keynotes. An elected senior member of both IEEE and the ACM, he has held several leadership positions in the technical communities such as IEEE Communication Society, etc. He was recognized with several awards, including the Intel Hero and the Trailblazer Awards. May I please request our Dean to come up on stage and give an introductory talk. Thank you.
Thank you for such a kind introduction. I thought we'll share some of the excitement I had when I was a engineer and a scientist at Intel Corporation. Probably some of you know what Intel is, so I will not get into that. So let's see how it goes. All right, what I want to speak today about is how are computers or machines made? And also I'll tell you how do we make these machines or computers intelligent. Okay. All right. So some of you have heard the word IR 4.0, Industrial Revolution 4.0. But if you look at the big picture, right? If you look at the human history, about until 10th century BC, we were basically hunters and gatherers in the world. And then we brought in, meaning people, right, humans, learned how to do agriculture. So what IR 0.0, okay, or the agricultural phase or agriculture started at that time. And if you look at, that's, as I said, around 10,000 BC. So now look at what happened in the late 1800s, okay? We started making progress in mechanizing labor and animals. Earlier it was the humans who were doing all the work, right? So we started mechanizing, and that's when the era, the mechanical era started. And let's move, fast forward another about 100 years. Towards late 1900s onwards, we went to the era that we called electrical era. Okay, that's when we started mass production, automation, electrical automation of factories. All those things started happening. Now again, you move another 100 years, that's when we started the electronic age. That's when we invented even digital electronics. Analog systems became digital. That has led to the development or creation of World Wide Web. That probably all of you are familiar with. A lot of fundamental things, progress in technology happened around this time, right? And so that's when globalization happened. People came to know each other. We became, the world became a, family or a small home. So let's move forward to today. So what's happening today? Today it's called the era of cognitive intelligence, okay? Now even quantum computing, some of you may or may not know, we are expecting machine learning and quantum computing, neuromorphic computing, these are some of the buzzwords, okay? But I can tell you, I can assure you that these are no more buzzwords. These are actually happening. In some of my labs, when I was the chief architect, we had started this work. It is truly happening. So we are in a fantastic world from the perspective of technology and science and understanding the universe. Of course, it has both plus and minus, right? We as human beings, we have to understand not only the technology, but the societal and the environmental effects of what we are doing. So it is a, technology is like a, knife that can do a lot of things, good things for us, right? But it can also hurt. So I would hope that all of my young friends are learning to be sensitive, to be morally and ethically strong, while, being innovative, being, hard-hitting, being developing things. But I hope you also care for the society at the same time. Okay, now I will take back a little back to the history. When some of you might know who invented transistor. Anybody remember that? This Shockley, okay. He invented along with another person. He received the Nobel Prize in physics for that, okay. He was in the Bell Labs. After that, the first fundamental revolution that happened is the invention of integrated circuit, okay. That is back then in 1959, as you can see, Bob Noyce and Jack Kilby. Bob Noyce was at Fairchild. That's used to be a large global company. It has become, Texas Instruments still exists, and Jack Kilby. They started this I won't go into the details of this, but on the left you see the very first Texas Instruments chip was made out of germanium, and the first economically superior and fantastic thing was the silicon, the thing that was built out of silicon, a Fairchild chip, as you can see, that has transistors as well as wires to connect. Transistors are switches, right? You might have already studied some of these. So now you wonder what happened after that. So some of you might have heard of Moore's law. I don't know, Moore's law, how exponential progress is made in some areas. That is, you know. So that fame, okay, Gordon Moore and Bob Noyce. These are the two people who started Intel. That was my previous company, as I said. So Intel stands for Integrated Electronics. Okay, moving on. So the growth in scientific knowledge, technology, advancement of society, you know, all the goods and services now you expect to be a standard or a norm in the world. The center of it is this computer or microprocessor. So the question is, all of you should know what a microprocessor is and how it is built. So microprocessor is the central processing unit, if we simplify a few things, we can say, and they may hold millions and billions of transistors. Today, remember, the very first one had only a handful of transistors that was built. But today they have, some of my chips that were fabricated have billions of transistors. So it's the most, you know, complex creation. Some people say humans created, but you know, it's very, very sophisticated and complex. So that's, let's see. So what is microprocessor? So I have shown the picture of a 2017 chip we designed. It's called Coffee Lake chip. Okay, the diagram you see. You cannot see billions of transistors and wires that are in there, but that's called a die photo. Photo of the die. Does everybody understand what a die? Maybe I'll show you something. So that die on the left side that you see gets packaged into this packaged processor. That's the microprocessor. I don't know if you can see. Oh yeah, you can see my mouse. So this is the die photo of the design that we created, which eventually, after you know millions and billions of dollars of effort and equipment, we created the chip. Okay, that goes into to power, you know, many computers, servers, everything in the world, right? I mean, any device nowadays you see, there are chips inside. So it's a fantastic world, right? So okay, so let's quickly look at how these chips are made. I thought you should.
But they're not. The main ingredient in that fancy Core i7 sitting in your rig or that Snapdragon sitting in your smartphone is sand. I mean, it isn't exactly the same stuff that you find on the beach. It's specially mined in order to be more pure than what you would make a sand castle out of. And this sand is heated to thousands of degrees and chemically purified to produce a virtually flawless cylinder of silicon, hence the name Silicon Valley for California's high-tech region. Now, the reason that purity is so important is that as processor technology has continued to advance, the tiny transistors on CPUs have gotten smaller and smaller so that more of them can fit on one processor die, making it more powerful. And because chip makers are now packing as many of these transistors as possible onto CPUs, the margins for error are extremely slim, making precise manufacturing and ultra-clean environments absolute musts. So after the silicon is purified, it's cut into what are called wafers, which resemble mirrors more than the cracker kind of wafer. That wafer is then polished, a photosensitive chemical is applied, kind of like what's used in film, then ultraviolet light is shone through a stencil that's shaped exactly like the transistor layout that the engineers created for the CPU. Because wafers themselves are usually quite large, the process of shining light through the stencil can be repeated many times, fitting hundreds of CPU dies onto a single wafer. After the UV light step is complete, the wafer is washed in a solvent that dissolves the exposed areas, leaving a pattern that another machine etches into the wafer itself. These etches are then bombarded by ions, charged atoms that embed themselves into the silicon, changing the way that they conduct electricity to create transistors that only allow current to flow in one direction, which means they can function as tiny switches or gates that make your CPU able to understand instructions, which, by the way, you can learn more about here. In fact, the whole reason we use silicon as the base for processors is because of its ability to accept these ions that form the foundation for modern transistors. So after these transistors are created, the next step is to connect them together to make a functional processor die. This is done with rigid copper interconnects, essentially tiny wires that are applied on top of the transistors with a similar ultraviolet and etching process to what I explained earlier. Exactly how they're connected depends on what CPU architecture the engineers are using, whether it be something like Skylake, codename Skylake for Intel, or codename Zen for AMD. This is done in many, many layers to prevent any of these wires from accidentally touching and causing a short circuit or any other kind of defect. The dies are then tested, and the good ones are placed into a CPU package. That is what allows it to plug into the socket on your motherboard. You add a heat spreader on top of that, and voila! You've got the beating heart of your new PC, phone, or anything else that requires a CPU.
So this is learning about manufacturing of processors as fast as you can in 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes. Okay.
Believe it or not, the main ingredient.
How do I go down? Up, sorry. Okay, now that you learned about it, there is a pop quiz for you. I'm a professor, so I always ask questions. So look at these 4 things, the influenza virus, the transistor, the water molecule, and grains of sand. So think in your head which is the smallest and order them from smallest to the largest. Okay. All right, so only thing is I won't wait for your answers on this pop quiz. So we learned how the first integrated circuit is made. This is a quick thing about first microprocessor that was made long time ago. As you can see, this is this was called Intel 4004, made in 1971. That was the first microprocessor ever. Had 2300 transistors. Before that, a computer was made. One of the very well-known computers is called ENIAC, E-N-I-A-C. Okay, that was like a room full. It had these valves, you know, as switches. This little processor was as powerful as that humongous beast before that. Okay, so look at the types of progress, advances we are making, and that was in 1971. Things are improving exponentially. So we have fantastic things that are happening today. So the first computer, which is personal computer, PC, was made by IBM, okay? And the hardware came from, or the processor came from Intel, and the operating system came from Microsoft, right? There's still that sort of a thing is happening, as you know, okay? So you saw the history. I thought I show you another little piece of thing, how circuits
One of the
work.
coolest things I've discovered about circuits is circuitry can be an art form. Like if I have a creative idea, I can get that creative idea out using circuits. So if you have ideas, you can use technology to make those ideas come to life. Every input or output of a computer is effectively a type of information, which can be represented by on or off electrical signals, or ones and zeros. In order to process the information that comes in as input, and to make the information that's output, a computer needs to modify and combine the input signals. To do this, a computer uses millions of teeny electronic components, which come together to form circuits.
Let's take a closer look at how circuits can modify and process information that's represented in ones and zeros. This is an incredibly simple circuit. It takes an electrical signal, on or off, and it flips it. So if the signal you give it is a 1, the circuit gives you a 0. And if you give the circuit a 0, it gives you a 1. The signal that goes in is not the same as the signal that comes out, and so we call this circuit not.
More complicated circuits can take multiple signals and combine them and give you a different result. In this example, a circuit will take 2 electrical signals. Now, each one might be a 1 or a 0. If either of the signals coming in is a 0, then the result is also a 0. This circuit will only give you a 1 if the first signal and the second signal are both a 1. And so we call the circuit AND. There are many small circuits like this that perform simple logical calculations. By connecting these circuits together, we can make more complex circuits that perform more complex calculations. For example, you can make a circuit that adds 2 bits together, called an adder. This circuit takes in 2 individual bits, each one a 1 or a 0, and adds them together to calculate the sum. The sum can be 0 plus 0 equals 0, 0 plus 1 equals 1.
Of it, which together
Just
calculate the
jumping
sum. Different electrical circuits can perform other simple calculations like subtraction or multiplication. In fact, all the information processing your computer does is just lots and lots of small, simple operations put together. Each individual operation done by a computer is so simple, it could be done by a human, but these circuits inside computers are way faster.
Back in the day, these circuits were big and clunky, and an 8-bit adder could be as big as a fridge, and it would take minutes for them to perform a simple calculation. Today, computer circuits are microscopic in size and way faster. Well, why are...
Okay, you have already seen that part in theory. All right, moving on. So remember I asked you a question, a pop quiz. So, okay, I take, oops, hold on. Okay. Okay, this was the pop quiz, and the hints are here. You see the sizes of these materials? Just take a little look. So the water molecule, or H2O, is the smallest, by the way. Okay, next comes the transistor. So it's that small, all right? Everything else are much bigger than this. Okay, that's the fantastic word. All right, now I told you about very quickly how computers or machines are made. Now, you know, we are in the IR 4.0. How are we here? We are here by making them intelligent. And so, what is an example of intelligence, right? If you look at what the computers have been able to do, if you remember Deep Blue, IBM's computer Deep Blue, that defeated the world, champion Kasparov in chess. That was in 97. But look at 96. You know, Kasparov was victorious in 3 wins, there were 2 draws and 1 loss. But within a year, look at the exponential growth in our capabilities. In 1 year, the computer defeated the world champion. All right. So that is a fantastic word. Relatively recently, a couple of years ago, Go, the game of Go, some of you may know, is the world's most complex game. The number of, it's like billions and billions of choices you have to make if you have to explore in the brute force way or a very simple way. That is the most complex game, people say. And that, even that, the best player there, Lee Sedol, was defeated by a computer. Okay, that is AlphaGo from Google. The next picture is IBM's Watson. Some of you may know about Watson, right? Jeopardy game. That's like, you know, a little bit like Kaun Banega Crorepati type style. Anyway, so all of these, like I said, circuits that are being made. This is the Nirvana chip. It's a chip for artificial intelligence, especially made for artificial intelligence computations. It was done by one of my teams when I was in the Intel server division. So that is the world that I want to say. In all of these, what am I saying? It's neither just the hardware or the processor, or neither just the software, but it is together that is making all of these fantastic. We already saw examples of robotics in the previous speech. So I won't tell you that much about robotics anymore because it's covered. Okay, now let's look at AI on wheels. AI is artificial intelligence. You know, this is probably near one of my homes in the USA when I was living there. It's Uber's driverless car or automated driving car, okay? Nowadays, in Germany, they have driverless trucks moving at very, very high speed, kind of driverless. That is the idea, or that is what is happening today already. Oops. And this is, you know, who it is, Amazon. You have drones, and the drones delivering articles to people's homes, backyards, okay? This is, I should use this pointer probably. Oops, wrong direction. So what's happening here? It's like machines making machines intelligent. The first machine here is the computer. The second machine is the car, right? Or truck, or whatever, drone. Okay, so then one wonders, what is intelligence? What's involved in intelligence? I'm not going to spend a lot of time, remember, because we don't have time. But if you think about it, you need to have an ability to interact with the environment, that is the world. And that could be through speech, vision, motion, or manipulation. Those are, you know, some of the major ways. Imagine that's like input-output of a computer, right? That's the sensors that interacts, that can input and output. Then we need to have the ability to model the world and to reason about it. Reason about it means to analyze, okay? Analyze the world. And then we have to be able to infer what is happening, we infer. Or predict. Predict means what will happen in future. That is the essence of intelligence as well. And then finally, intelligence means the ability to learn from experience. And learn by learning means also to be able to adapt, right? So those are the three fundamental properties or aspects that we are creating into the machines. So, okay. So one of the AI pioneers, okay, Herb Simon, said there are two purposes of AI. In long time ago he said that. I won't read the whole thing. One is to augment human thinking. So typical things, machines are helping us do something extra. That is augmenting what we are doing. The other purpose is also equally interesting. It is to understand how humans think. Do you understand? So the application of AI is not limited to only computer science engineering type of thing. It is everywhere. In management, in finance, so my next picture probably shows that. So look at how crucial and important the field of computer science and engineering is. It is affecting everything under the sky, okay, or beyond. So all that you should take away from this is that if you learn this field, this career, you truly devote your dedication, you can truly impact in a major way how the world runs. Okay, I won't get into too much, but I just want to repeat what Arthur Clarke said. Any sufficiently advanced technology looks like magic, and that is what it is. What we are developing, what we are teaching, that is like magic. If you look at it, it seems impossible, it's magic. But that is when it is really, truly, it is something going on behind it, and we make it possible. All right, so this is my pretty much final slide. I said CSC, or Computer Science and Engineering, is a fantastic career to choose. There are several careers you could choose, but certainly this is one of the very exciting fields. If you look at just the perspective of value it creates, my graph shows, which I got from the World Economic Forum. Okay, this comes from World Economic Forum. Look, it claims that digital transformation, meaning the field we are talking about, will create in the next 5 years $100 billion of value. And the value is in two aspects or two respects. One is the industry or the business or this normal thing what you understand by creating. The other side is the value to the society, okay? Why is that, you wonder? That's the sustainability. The technology we are creating is perhaps going to save us, okay? We are on a path, as you know, to destruction. If humans do what they have been doing, for long we will be there. But we can use technology for the good, okay? That is the societal value. So if you look at it, let's say you take the field or industry, consumer industry. There, on the brown side is the social benefit, it is saying. $5,439 billion of value, if we can place value. But that particular industry, when it is, with the impact of digital transformation, what is happening in this field, it could happen. On the right side is in terms of the industry, how the industry grows, how the job, how much money they create, economy. But also on the last column, if you look at my last column, something interesting. All these new things are creating also quite a bit of churn, quite a bit of, changes. And those who cannot adapt to changes can suffer. So as leaders, as professors, as thought thinkers, we must also work towards to alleviate the problems that this new age is going to bring. We need to be conscious, we need to analyze what is happening in which industry and take steps to ameliorate that, to make it better. So to just give you an example, look at that same consumer industry. It is fantastic in reducing carbon emission through these technologies, but also there will be job losses. Why? Because of automation. These things are happening. You saw robots, right, cleaning manholes. So this is happening, something to keep in mind and understand. But opportunities are great. You just have to adapt a little bit intelligently. Okay, I wanted to show you how you can do machine intelligence, machine learning using Scratch, but I do not have time. We are running late, so I will skip this, and you will learn about Scratch, like I said, basic programming. But later you contact my professors or me, maybe we can help you also learn something much deeper as well. Okay, so at the end I want to say thank you, and thank you for your time.